Creativity isn't a switch you can just turn on. I wish it was. When my notes are full of ideas, it seems like there's always more coming my way. But when I'm out of viable ideas to work on, it seems like there's no more ideas left in this world. Inspiration is a tricky thing. So, when you need it, where do you find it? I recently posted a video on creativity and what it means to be creative. To follow that up, I wanted to go over where I find inspiration and get that creative spark. It doesn't matter if you're a writer, photographer, filmmaker, designer, musician. If you're a creative, these are some of the places you can draw inspiration from. So let's go over some of them. First one is movies and TV shows. Cinema or video is such a complete medium, and I think that's what makes it really interesting. There's visuals, there's sound, and there's a story. It's really a full package for your senses. And because of that, I think it's a great place to draw inspiration from. Whenever I'm watching something on the TV, I might get inspired by the soundtrack, or the visuals, a certain shot, or maybe by a character's arc. There's just a lot to pick from. And I'd suggest you not only watch what you currently like, but also venture into different genres. So if you like action blockbusters, dive into indie horror movies, or a Japanese romantic comedy. There's always something you can pick up on from something outside of your comfort zone. Anime is another genre I really like to consume. Ever since I was a kid, I always loved watching animated shows and cartoons. And I think the basis of it, illustration, not being bound to reality, allows you to bend said reality and really show you new perspectives and new stories that you really wouldn't be able to get otherwise. I've watched quite a few over the years, but here are some that really inspired me recently. First one is Cowboy Bebop for the amazing soundtrack and the really nostalgic vibe. And the other one is Attack on Titan for the world building and just the story, man. Something really refreshing comes from watching something that is a different medium to the one that you usually create in. Other than these two, there are also some other places I like to draw visual inspiration from. Film Grab, which is an archive of stills from movies and TV shows. It's a great place to find some of the best and most interesting shots from popular media. And lastly, there's Eye Candy. And I love this one. There's a ton of interesting angles and perspectives and camera work and VFX here. If you're someone who's really into creative type shots in filmmaking and photography, bookmark this one, trust me. Lastly, for me as a filmmaker and a pretty visual person, there are two YouTube channels that I also really like that showcase some of the best shots from certain shows and movies. And that's Amazing Shots and The Beauty Of. This one's to be expected. Music. I genuinely distrust people who don't really listen to music. If you ever met those people, they're like, I don't really listen to music. Isn't that weird? I mean, if life's a movie, the music that you listen to is the soundtrack. And you gotta have a good soundtrack. Music, much like a movie, can convey an idea, a vibe, a setting. On a lot of projects that I'm editing, I like to start with the music. And doing that allows it to dictate the direction that I'm gonna take with the edit. So go and listen to some music. And not just the Billboard Top 100. Listen to some music that's old, new, mainstream, indie, funky, mellow, jazzy, sad. Listen to any and everything. Get out there and get out of your comfort zone. Try some new stuff. Even if you're not gonna add it to your playlist, it might just spark something in you. Art, specifically graphic art, comes in all shapes and sizes. It's designed not only to look good, but also to portray a story. At least good art in my opinion. It could be paintings, illustrations, prints, posters, tattoos, sculptures, books, figures, home decor. I mean, anything could be art. I personally own mainly prints, paintings, and books on art and graphic design. Coffee table books like these I find are just great to just open on any page and instantly get a drop of inspiration. So try looking at coffee table, art, and design books. Also photography zines. Not only do they serve as actual books, but also they look pretty nice, so you can use them as home decor. Walking past prints and different art pieces around the house just really sparked something in me without me even asking for it. I've also collected a fair amount of ink in my skin. I never thought about it when I was doing it, but also helps to keep me inspired when I look at it. Because I don't paint or draw, I find that it's a good way of me getting inspiration without trying to go out and just replicate it, which can happen when I'm looking at movies and shows, and not replicate it, but at least try. And on that note, go ahead and make it easy for yourself to get inspired. It could be your home, the people around you, or yourself. Really try and make it easy to get inspired in your day-to-day life. Whether that's having art around the house, or music playing in the background, or just meeting with interesting people. Just create some good habits around getting inspired. Social media. Here we go. I know social media is a very tricky place to navigate. The way algorithms work and the feeds are structured, sometimes it gets a little bit weird. It's really easy to get caught up just watching cat videos and stupid memes. But if you curate it meticulously, it can be a really good place to find inspiration. Pick your poison. It could be Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever platform you like, really. Personally, I love YouTube more than any of the others. Maybe it's because I create more content for this platform, or maybe it's because that's where I consume the most content. For me, it was always a good resource, especially when it comes to education, for me both as a content creator as well as a freelance filmmaker and photographer. Maybe that's why it holds a special spot in my heart. I've learned so much here, it's actually insane. Had I been born 100 years ago, my life would be so different just off of the fact that this place wasn't a thing. It's really a great educational resource if you want to use it as such. Just be really careful with who you follow and how much time you end up spending on these apps. Remember that whatever it is that you consume can and will have an impact on you in one way or another. Try and be selective with whose content you watch. If you're like me at a certain point, if you spend all your time watching camera gear reviews, it's likely you'll think about buying camera gear. Nowadays, I really try and consume stories more than anything. I already have good camera gear, I get it, but still, I don't want to buy any more. I want to focus on stories and actually creating. Try and leave the gear reviews for when I know I actually need something and not watch them because I want to find something new to buy. I just don't want to watch it for fun because I know I'm weak. I'll start building my wish list back up again. For me, for a channel to be worth it, it really has to bring true value to the table. Whether it's teaching you something or it's inspiring you to create more. Unfortunately, a lot of the channels on here are all about selling you something. And I get it, people like watching gear reviews, it gets clicks, but overconsumption, whether digital or physical, has a lot of negative effects on you, and I don't think it's a path you want to go down. So because of this, I'm going to leave you with a list of creators I really enjoy and definitely have an impact on my work, and you might enjoy them as well. So in no particular order, I'm going to put them up on the screen, just leave them here for a bit. Life. Go outside, touch grass, travel, go to new places, meet new people, experience new things, look at cities, look at nature, experience them, and really get to know their stories. Life out there, where it's actually meant to be lived, is the biggest source of inspiration ever. We're all so lucky right now to be living in this present moment with all that the world has to offer you. It's never been so easy to just go outside and travel, see new things, try new food, meet new people. Maybe if finding inspiration indoors isn't working for you, there's a whole world out there. Experience it, just a little bit. Me, I spend so much time inside of these four walls, I'm sure it's not healthy. And when I get stuck in this bubble for a long time, it's so easy to start overcomplicating things and losing touch with reality. You start feeling uninspired, you start losing the sense of purpose and direction in life. And that's when I know I really need to get out there and live a little bit. There's this quote by Alan Watts I really like. A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusion. So get out there. Get out of your comfort zone. Break the routine a little bit. Do something different. See the world. Experience life a little bit. And really let yourself get inspired and energized by the world around you from within. So lastly, after you've taken in all of this information from all these sources I just gave you, what do? You really have to let it all sink in. Give it time and let it simmer. Let your mind filter and assess what really moves you, what connects with you out of these things that you see and experience. Don't just take what you experienced and go out and replicate it straight away. Give it some time to curate. As much as it's good to consume things that inspire you, it's just, if not more important, to leave room for creativity to come from within you. Don't smother your mind with constant consumption. You've consumed enough, let it rest. Be alone, turn off your phone, be bored, and really let the ideas come from within your soul. You're giving yourself time to digest and process. It's like you just had some food. You have to give it time to digest and process it, so your body can turn it into something. It's the same with the mind. It's when you give yourself these moments of peace and quiet that the important parts from your experiences will emerge, and finally inspiration comes to fruition. I know I got a little philosophical there at the end, but I'm sure you get my point. And that's it. I hope this helps you in your creative journey. So now you know. Have fun creating, touch grass every now and again, and for now, stay safe.